I reckon we must be up to about 3,500 people all together right now across our diocese come together to worship. Not only are we joining together to worship, but we're also joining together to welcome someone very special to our diocese. Bishop David is currently a bishop in another part of England, and soon, later in the new year, he'll be coming to join us here in our diocese to work with us and lead us alongside Bishop Hugh.
Lee, thank you so much. I'm David, and I'm going to be the Bishop of Truro, and that was announced at 10 o'clock this morning. So you are the first people to know. It is a huge privilege. I can't, probably this might be the best day of my life. What an amazing county to become part of. But it's not the place, it's the people. And today has been all about meeting people in so many different places. I'm delighted to be here in this school. I started my working life in a secondary school teaching, and my wife was a primary school teacher. And I've been involved in school governance and involved in the life of schools ever since. And I'm so looking forward to being here in Cornwall and to relating to the schools and the partnerships we have across the whole education sector. One of the challenges and opportunities facing us as a diocese is, can we engage across all the generations? And I've been thrilled to discover something of that work that's already going on. The Flourish programme, where we meet as a worshipping community in 3 places of learning. It'd be lovely to see that expand, wouldn't it? And to see us over the next few years have a much greater reach, always in partnership with others, but seeking to hand on the heritage of faith that is ours as Christians to a new generation. In the late spring, early summer, I shall be welcomed as your bishop in Truro Cathedral.
We ask all of this in the name of Christ.
But I'm visiting today on the announcement day for a number of reasons. There's an astonishing painting that was painted in 1980 called Cornubia. In fact, a small copy of it is behind me as I'm being filmed for this. Cornubia has shafts of light that touch every parish church in Cornwall. I don't know whether it's heaven touching earth or the parishes touching heaven, or whether Cornwall is just a thin place spiritually where we encounter God in fresh ways. But at the heart of my concern as your bishop will be that we are first of all a people of prayer, that we are praying for our world, we're praying for Cornwall, and we're praying for our own households and immediate concerns. That's what I think the church is about. It's a place where we can find space, where we can be encouraged, built up, and sometimes challenged. Whilst I'm here at Truro Cathedral, one of the most poignant moments of today will be praying quietly at the Loud Fence. The Loud Fence is a place of deep poignancy. It's a place where we remember all those who have suffered at the hands of others, have been victims of abuse. In many ways, there's no words except silence. But there must be actions that come from that. I, as a bishop, have a deep commitment to safeguarding, that the church should be a place where the most vulnerable are safe. And the implications of this are in every parish, aren't they? I'm delighted that so many have given of their time to be trained, to go through the safeguarding processes that do the very best we can to make the church a safe institution. I wonder if you also would find time just to be quiet for a moment. Wherever you go and you find a community that is digging deep into its own resources, allowing creativity to flourish, making sure that the needs of the people who perhaps are the most vulnerable are at the centre of our concern, I believe you end up in a healthy town and a healthy place. And I'm thrilled to have discovered community leaders, parish nurse, people who have given their lives for the sake of their own communities, And I want to join in as a church, wherever that happens, to say, can we do something alongside you? Can we do something that makes this more effective? And do you know what? Other people around the country are looking at places like this and wondering, how have you done it? Well, it's this beautiful combination, isn't it, of local enterprise, of local imagination, of local compassion that finds itself in deep acts of care and concern. The critical thing is, it's community-driven, it's community-based, and it's your enterprise under God that brings flourishing for all of us. Over the last 40 years, wherever I have lived and worked, I have found that it's ordinary men and women doing extraordinary things that changes communities and changes churches. And I want to say, let's try. In this tour today in Cornwall, I've met an extraordinary range of men and women, lay and ordained, who are using their God-given gifts to build up the church. Whether it's working with young people and children, whether it's working in the community larders, whether it's watching out for pilgrims who might become much more interested in spiritual things. I want us as a church in Cornwall to be agile, to be imaginative, to find that in each other, God has given us all the gifts we need to fulfill His purposes for the church in Cornwall and for its community. Whether you're called to preach or to visit or to pastor or to lead services or to be involved in collective acts of worship in schools or to be involved in governance of local enterprises, local charities or schools, I want to say that's part of the big picture of who we are as the people of God ministering in His name. This is an exciting vision. It's a Cornish vision. It's about the future of the church in this part of the world. And I so much look forward to being part of it with you. We end the day in Cardinum, evening prayer led by one of the lay readers. Across the whole of Cornwall, there are 300 churches, many set in hamlets and villages and towns. And what unites all of our churches is these are places where for generations prayers have been said. It's where we've expressed our deepest joys, sometimes our deepest hurts before God. It's places where communities have met at times of great celebration as well as at times of lament. And all through, has been a deep commitment that our faith is one that needs to be passed on to a new generation. As we say evening prayer together, I'm reminded of Paul writing to the Ephesian church. As with all the churches he wrote to, the letter overflows with his sense of gratitude to God. I want that to underpin my time as bishop, that my prayers will always be giving thanks for the people I've met each day and the places I've visited. But Paul goes on and says, this God that we pray to is able to answer our prayers beyond our capacity to imagine or even to ask. I will pray for you and ask you to pray for me as well as for yourselves, that we might pray with that truth deep in our hearts and souls. Will you believe with me that God can answer prayer beyond our ability to ask? Because once we start praying like that, then all that we've seen today is going to be multiplied many times over, beyond our creativity, beyond our imagination, beyond our human wisdom. And that's what gives me confidence in being your bishop. It's not a confidence based on my experience or based on my wisdom or even my little bit of creativity. It's a confidence based on who God is. And that's why beginning and ending the day in prayer needs to be part of our own daily rhythm of life. Join with us as you glimpse what we've been doing here today. And may God bless you this Christmas and into the new year.